We look forward to bringing you the most comprehensive coverage you can find on the Gulf Coast. From interviews featuring players, coaches, and administrators, predictions of the weekend ahead, and the breakdown of the past week's games, we have it here. It's the XFL Show, right after Talk Football with Coach K, every Monday and Friday at 12:30 on ESPN Pensacola and streaming live on YouTube.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, sports call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Once again, don't stop what you're doing if you're driving. Welcome into the Sports Drive. We're going to have some fun today as we'll break down why some people might say energy drinks aren't great for you. But if it helps get a 4-star recruit, why is it such a bad thing?
Emmett Smith has just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. Across the middle, it is caught for the first. It's Baldwin shaking free and sprinting down the sideline for the touchdown. His third of the day. Doug Baldwin.
Derek Brooks, who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl. Boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr. Both been beaten. The result has come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest. 992 for Gatlin. 992 by the American champion to take gold.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. And this time, his name is Bubba. Scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trick Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome to the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. I am Chad Brillante. Glad to be with you here as always as we broadcast live on this Monday afternoon. Well, at this point, it's going to be one of these. What's this laugh, by the way? We haven't even got through the intros yet, and we've already got a some kind of comedic laugh going on, by the way. You're in full-out gear today. I mean, welcome to the show, JP.
You wore your 2012 World Series things. I figured, wear the jersey here. And anyway, I want to move on. I want to make sure we get to this point.
You want to move on?
No.
Your laugh at me? What's...
No, that's what I want to continue to.
Okay, let's
go back to this. I know how we can get off subject here.
Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you.
Absolutely, yeah. Yep, doing good. Cool.
Saw you actually at Pensacon. Driving by. I was driving by you.
I was driving
No,
by.
I saw you. That wasn't you as Ursula?
No, it was not me.
No, it was okay. All right, sorry about that. Okay, never mind.
Andy Dalton, congratulations. I want to throw that out there. That's Brady's going to be gone. I think
Yep.
It's obvious at this point. He's out of there. Andy Dalton, he's going to be the new Patriot. As the article came out,
I hope he's a Patriot.
Patriots potential
I hope
trade
he loves
partners
this
right
country.
there. I mean, congratulations. Not a lot of people get the honor to have Andy Dalton, the Red Rocket, as their quarterback.
You should love this country.
Belichick is just going to he loves this guy. He's going to love him. Julian Edelman probably will not be playing this year, but that's fine. I think he's going to get a lot of success here. So congratulations,
Anybody
Chad.
out there driving, none of this is actual news. These are reports.
Well, the article's actually true about them being the top, the front runner.
Yes, out of I Write Sports out of my mama's basement.
That's NFL.com.
.gov. It's a .gov site. But some of these stories, though, I think the day it hit is when Kawhi Leonard, breaking news, and they had the little ticker at the bottom, Kawhi deciding between an LA city or going back to Toronto. I'm like, isn't that back to square one? Wait a second, how is this news? But the same thing today. Jameis plans on being out. Well, when Bruce Arian, the guy that looks like a painter, sipping a little red wine and stirring it around there. When Bruce Arians, he was at that level
it's in
right
that
now.
cup. You're talking about wine.
Second cup of coffee today, by the way.
No, second cup of coffee in like the 10
last
minutes.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
So, first off, I made you a fresh cup, so you can can it.
Yeah.
You're not 100% sure what's in there, by the way. But
I feel like you just threw it in the microwave, whatever it is.
Whatever that is. That's my dip from last week. But what I will say is roll day. Looking at the Jameis Winston story, when your coach at the end, and he looks like the kind of guy at this point that's not holding anything back. But when your coach comes out at the end, it was like, do you guys think you can do better with somebody else? He's like, you think we could do better? Did you not see the 5 picks? Yeah, I think we could do better. Like, that doesn't gain a lot of confidence that everybody's going to have one of those NFL hard knocks and everybody's going to be high-fiving going into training camp. And I think that was pretty clear. Now, there's a lot of teams out there that are trying to figure it out. I'm not sure. Jameis can say what he wants about LASIK surgery. To me, that's not as much an excuse about football as it would be about an Uber ride or other things. That is more why you got to be like, hey, look.
He
I
thought
was
it's
well,
free. He wasn't sure.
Thought it was a sample.
Did you hear what Bruce Arians said about the interceptions, by the way?
No,
20,
no, I did
he
not.
said 20 of them, or 10 of them were not his fault. He
other-
said the other 20, yeah.
That's
Hey, look, he's a 33-20 quarterback now. So then he gets LASIK. Maybe that takes off 10 interceptions. So there you go. He's a 33-10 quarterback, and we're going to put him in the Hall of Fame.
Officer, my first 10 DUIs were a speed trap, and in the middle of the night was not my fault. The other 20 when I almost hit Grandma walking her kids back from school, that's on me. That's none of this. Like, you're not going to get that.
I'm laughing at that.
What a horrible person you are. But the thing is, yeah, I know you're with me. You've been in here long enough with me. But I will say, Jameis is not the type of quarterback that. Well, actually, let's ask everybody today. Florida State guy. He's a Heisman Trophy winner, a national champion. I mean, he's a polarizing figure, regardless of what he does. When it comes to winning, losing games, he's always going to be looked at that way. There's the really good enough to be number one. Then there's the real bad. According to Forbes magazine, he was worth about $19.8 million. I want to say B for some reason. I'm just in that mood to wear a suit in here. I think I can say the B word. Yeah, just throw on B. $19 billion. That's right. Those were his court cases. His court cases for the Tallahassee PD cost $19 billion. But he was worth that type of money. Then there was the other things, the memes, the things you don't say on tables, at cafeterias. But
I don't know what you're talking about. But
I'm not going to say that.
Oh, okay.
But for me not to say it, you know it's bad. Like, wow, that must be really terrible. Well, Jameis, at this point, though, his career's not done, but he has a lot to prove. And he did lead the NFL, if you want to be a glass half full guy, did lead the NFL in yards last year. You know, a borderline type Pro Bowl guy based on that. But then he had the other negatives too. So we're going to ask people today, 850-623-1330. If you're a team out there, one of those teams, which seems to be about 12 or 13, almost half of the teams in the NFL today, need a quarterback of some sort. Or at least they're starting to plan, like your fraudulent story on if Tom Brady's out in New England, or the case of what's happening with a guy like Drew Brees in New Orleans, where you can say what you want, but Teddy Bridgewater deserves to get his. Brees is going back as he should. He means everything to the city of New Orleans, and he always will. But Taysom Hill, awesome dude. He's the bro. He's the guy that, you know, you go down and you get one of those hand grenades down on Bourbon Street and have some fun over at Willie's Chicken Shack, and people are like, yeah, he knows this place. And then you go around until 3 a.m. and live the bourbon style. Well, Taysom Hill's like the guy you want to do that with. He's like, he's the man, everybody. Shots.
He'd be the guy to get everybody together to go do that.
He just seems like the awesome dude in every aspect. But as a quarterback, no. I wouldn't trust him as a full-time quarterback. He does what he does great. But there's a reason Hines Ward, there's a reason Antoine Randall, some of the finest at that, didn't become full-time quarterbacks. And for this matter, they need a backup plan as well. I mean, it seems like they had all these guys, but they need a backup plan as well for the next couple seasons. I don't know the perfect answer. He's not going to New Orleans. But I would say if you look at the list of teams right now, Chicago makes sense to me. I mean, Chicago does make, based on, they can say what they want about Mr. Trubisky, but if you look at Matt Nagy's, he's a smart enough guy You would think. You would think that he'd
We'll
be smart
see.
enough to look at a camera, and if he says the words, "I believe Mitch Trubisky is our guy," I can't even say it without laughing. Sorry. Like you can't believe that guy is the guy of the future. Yeah, come on. Like
No, but this is my thing. Is they talk about they want to
get Mariota and him and have like a kumbaya first and second pick session. Heisman Trophy winners on the same team.
Let's not do that. Look, the Bears saying that.
What a bust of a draft now.
They're going to add a veteran quarterback to push Mitch Trubisky. Remember, this is the guy that said, I have to turn the TVs off because you guys naysay. You're going to bring a guy in there to push him? Like he's going to cry. No,
I think many Windy Cityites would like to push Mitch Trubisky.
I agree. But to hear Marcus Mariota, listen, as a Titans fan, I want him to go have success somewhere else. I like the guy, awesome guy. He just does not fit.
Sounds like you're about to, some negativity is about to come.
No, but Marcus Mariota to me is like a Mitch Trubisky. They drafted him and they expected a lot. It hasn't really worked out. You showed signs of, oh, there it is. There's the guy we wanted, and then it backtracks. And now with Mitch Trubisky, except the Titans moved on, they got Tannehill.
Yeah.
Can't believe I said that, but. Jameis Winston. What about a guy like that and a fresh start, which I think he needs. Now the other side of that, you have a decent offensive line. You have a Super Bowl caliber winning or potential winning defense. They don't have the weapons that Tampa has, but they have a little bit of a running game. I just think he needs a fresh start. I think
he needs a fresh one.
Chicago
You're right.
would be perfect.
He does need a fresh one.
Yeah,
looking right now at, I hope I wasn't the bearer of bad news to my brother, by the way. Joe texted us earlier.
Yeah.
Joe's on top of it, by the way. He's on top of all.
Was that Joe or
I think it was
Coach?
Joe. No, I think it was Joe Ford. Joe texted me. We're all part of look, all of the broadcasters, which you've heard on air here. We're all part of this, group message. Yeah, I'm the guy that's usually like the one texting at midnight or 2 a.m. and y'all are asleep. But he texted that the Golf Channel is actually moving, and I think they are moving up north. I want to say up to Connecticut. Yeah,
Stanford.
But so I text my brother, who's one of the main producers. And I was like, so you guys are all moving? He was like, I think so. He's not sure if he's going. But
they said they won't find, and reading the article, they probably won't find out until late April.
Yeah.
But they're moving up there because
I heard it was
NBC.
a 4-iron. They're a 4-iron away from making the decision.
Yeah, that's debatable, though. Depends on the wind.
A lot of people can't hit a 4-iron, though. So, so this might be put on hold for a little while. I'm just saying.
We'll see.
How
do you take golf out of Florida, by the way? I know I understand with all the things going on, but that's
Aspen,
like the Golf Channel is perfect where it's at. I know that
I'd move it to Hawaii.
Well, it's true. I don't think your brother would fault that one.
No, it's not bad, right?
Let's go. I guess if we got to relocate,
I guess got to prepare for the Sony Invitational every year at the beginning. Sir, it is August. Well, it's all right. 4 months away, Southern Swing, baby. But I look right now to go back to what you were saying though about Jameis Winston. There's a lot of quarterbacks like that, but. His is tough. It's difficult because he's got his fans, like folks like Eric who are huge fans. Then you got the people that hated him already before, even when he was succeeding. He had a grandma at a game. I was at a game where a lady in like a 75 years old. Sorry, she might have. That's disrespectful. She could have just been a woman and not a grandma, but she looked like a grandma, like a hover around commercial grandma. And she screams this with kids and other people. Not to say that the front row and Doe Campbell's the most family friendly, like you're going to the zoo. But the guy immediately, she looks over and she goes, "Rapist!" Like screams it, and everybody is like, and we're all looking in the crowd. But that's how he was treated for a long time. Now she was also wearing a Clemson shirt, and so that would have been worse from your own stadium. But you look at the people that go to some of these games, and he's always had that demeanor, regardless of it. And he's always had to get over that. But his game has not lived up to where he has had that moment. Even RG3 and out. And guys like, Andrew Luck. And everybody had their moment of shining where they got to the Pro Bowl or they got a chance to go on and be in the playoffs. Jameis has been what? It's now 4 years in the NFL? This will be his fifth? I
believe so, yes.
I think this will be his fifth year. And he's not had one season where he's made the postseason. He's not had one season where he's looked like the MVP. He's had some okay seasons. He led the league in passing. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there hasn't been that one moment. And this will be his fifth, correct? That's what I'm saying. So for a team to want to give up, to want to look like Ryan Fitzpatrick / Conor McGregor last year doing the jumpsuits from The Sopranos is beating him out for the job. When Ryan Fitzpatrick is getting more likes and more billboards wanting to get put up around the St. Pete area and Tampa area over him, that's when you need to look and say, okay, am I worth it? Because the stars, the MVP caliber, nobody wakes up and thinks they're getting beat out by Ryan Fitzpatrick. You know, like
Josh Rosen did, but yeah.
Well, yeah, he's a star in his own mind. Smug star right there.
It's true.
Dancing by himself with the stars. Yeah, I'm just saying, overall, I can't answer that. I don't think Mitch Trubisky is going to ever be that quarterback. I don't think, but Jameis, I'm not ready to say it's over because we have seen a guy that went unbeaten. And really, I know people don't want to admit to this because they, like I said, a lot of people don't like him. Florida State fans will back me on this, though. That was one of the best seasons ever, though. I mean, as a team. They struggled a little at the end in the game that Auburn ended up turning a great performance. Trey Mason takes another minute off the clock. The game's over. But Jameis Winston in that season, if you look at how badly they beat, if you pull up that 2016 season, is it? 2015 season, where they went out and played, and they were beaten every single week. It was like a 52-0 win. I mean, the first game he ever plays on national TV, I remember like it was yesterday against Pittsburgh, and he goes out there and throws, 21 straight completions? So, once again, I'm not taking the path of one of those Vermont teddy bear commercials that everybody looks to snuggle. Those things look really nice, though.
I haven't seen one of those commercials in a while.
I feel like in one day I could just, I could live in a house of those, of 100 of them. Just come home and, everywhere you fall, just, snuggle up against it. It'd be real creepy. But I will say for Jameis, though, he's never had everybody on his side, but he was putting up ridiculous numbers. So we've seen that, and he's been a champion. That doesn't always relate to the NFL. But I think to be able to lead the NFL in yards, to be able to go out there and do that, you have to have some type of talent. And then there was the interceptions. So maybe the LASIK helped out. This doctor deserves an award. Look what Joe Brady did. And it can change. 850-623-1330 is the number. We'll go to the phone lines. Caller, who's this?
Hey, Jonah. How you doing this evening?
Hey, Jonah. Good to see you. Or good to talk to you.
Good to see you too, Chad. Although I'm seeing you in spirit, but I appreciate the generosity.
Well, Jonah, I don't want to say this.
The best.
I'm always watching, by the way. Don't look up at the
I
street
had
signals.
A comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
I will not. I promise I won't. Well, actually, I can't promise that. I may do it. But I had a comment on that Florida State, or what you call the perfect season, pretty much. I will believe that I'm not the only one in Pensacola feel this way. Even if Florida State were to go undefeated, they're still an AC team, which makes them the awards of Ron Burgundy, Bush League. Anybody that likes the ACC also enjoys licking the bottom of other people's shoes. So on top of that, if you like the American Conference, they're knockoff Big East. And you also must be a UCF fan because I can't think of any other team in that conference that's worth anything. But, with that being said, Jameis Winston, 5,000 yards passing, doesn't happen by accident. He's got good players, but I also believe he's prone to lack of confidence if people aren't showing him they like him. Remember, he's a down-home Southern kid. If you love him and you support him, he'll show right back. Look the way him and Jimbo had it. Last note. You said Ryan Patrick in his jumpsuits. I think it would have been perfect time for you to say you loved his outfits, Chad. I mean, that would have been great context. It would have been great support. And on top of all that, he's fly as you know what. So, wanted to hear y'all's thoughts on all that. JP, I know you got a lot to say, especially about Chad. I don't know who wants to go first.
Yeah, my eyes lit up. I just want you to know that. So there. Now, look, he did say outfits before the show. I just want to say that. But I told him, I was like, look, come on now. You got to let these outfits go.
Listen.
And he said, did you see my outfit today? And I was just like, all right.
Attire. We're moving up in the world. If I'm wearing a suit, I say attire.
You might be moving up. I'm staying put.
Jonah, all I got to say in this is that to the point of Jameis, I think there's a lot of quarterbacks that hopefully you can either write off or you understand it's not going to get too much better. When people say, we really believe Dwayne Haskins can be the guy next year and be the – no, stop. Just stop ignoring the truth. This guy might be able to maybe make the playoffs one day, and that's being very kind. This is a guy that couldn't read the playbook last year. I saw the article today I was writing. If I'm Washington right now, number 2, I'm doing everything I can to either look at Tua or look at making a move where you could trade with one of those teams at 5 or 6, like Miami or the LA Chargers, to try to get a guy at like a Jerry Jeudy, and then try to get a guy maybe later in the draft, in the second round, a pretty solid quarterback. Try a Jordan Love, or the possibility of a guy like Justin Herbert, if he slips that far, which he probably won't. Or use that second-round pick then to come back and make another move. Be Kevin Costner from draft day. Make some moves. But the difference is they're probably not going to do that. They like Dwayne Haskins or Mitch Trubisky for one more year, which you're telling your audience that you are going to be bad for one more year. And there's some quarterbacks you know that. Jameis, if he goes to a new home and he goes out there, let's say he went to a Tennessee, and I'm sorry, I threw that mojo right on. Now I've got the head shake going on here. But if he did go to a Tennessee, I'm not guaranteeing that he could not do something that Ryan Tannehill did and find a way to come back out there and have an 11-5 season. Tampa's not that good of a football team either. I want to make that clear. They have no running game. Their offensive line is in shambles, and their defense lost about 3 or 4 of their best players over the last couple years as Gerald McCoy and those guys all got old. So he does have some decent receivers, but the team around him was not a contender to start with. He's one of those rare quarterbacks that I'm not ready yet to say that he can't go on to have some type of success.
Interesting. Well, I appreciate y'all's insight as always. You'll have a safe evening. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you, Jonah. I appreciate it. Thank you for the trifecta dig as well. It's very, very clever on there with UCF and Florida State. You don't even have the headset on anymore, so I wouldn't. That's okay. Now that I threw that, your Nashville Predators play tonight, so that's pretty exciting right there. He's putting the headset back on. By the way, how do you get yourself a top-tier recruit? Well, Ed Ogeron will tell you when we return.
How much money you got?
That's your policy on things. I saw you saying the same thing to the kid on the playground last week. Kid was just trying to be out there with his parents and his friends. We're coming back for more Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola. Ursula coming back right here. Not this Monday afternoon.
Wendy's has been showing everyone how to do fast food right for 50 years. And now they're showing them how 2 for $5s are done with Wendy's 2 for $5. It's the only one where you can get Wendy's fresh, never frozen beef and that Wendy's spicy chicken you crave. Pick 2 for $5. Choose between the juicy Dave Single, the tasty spicy chicken sandwich, 10-piece crispy, or spicy nuggets. Come in today and taste how a real 2 for $5 is done. Only at Wendy's. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada. Price and participation may vary for a limited time only.
Sylvan success story number 4,092.
In 5th grade, we started noticing some problems, and it really changed our world. Sylvan gives parents like me hope. She's done a complete 180, and she's getting all A's and B's on her own. There's no more fighting about homework. I know that it's going to get turned in, and I know that she's going to rock it.
Start your own Sylvan success story. Call 1-800-EDUCATE or visit sylvanlearning.com.
Football season never ends on Talk Football with Coach K.
Stidham is tearing it up at New England. He may well be the incumbent to Tom Brady there.
Former head coach of the Buffalo Bills, Coach K brings his expertise as he breaks down the game, the players, the coaches, and the front office. Plus, high-profile interviews from the biggest names in football. Talk Football with Coach K every weekday from noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1.
What'd you do this time, Brad?
I'm in the doghouse after my hunting trip last weekend.
Yeah, I was too. I blew off our date.
How'd you get out of the doghouse?
Stillwater's Day and Medical Spa. I got her a gift card. It took 3 minutes at swmedspa.com. She booked it this Saturday.
Saturday? So 9 holes then?
Tea time's at 8.
To enjoy a hassle-free guys weekend, let her relax at Stillwater's Day and Medical Spa. Visit swmedspa.com. Stillwater's Day and Medical Spa, voted best on the Bay 10 years in a row, and now offering tattoo removal.
There's only one name in town when it comes to afternoon local sports talk. The Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante.
Some athletes don't want to be given... nobody does. No, look, when you play with your pops as it gets older, one of the most embarrassing things... My daughter's 3. I just slam it right in her face right at the play school hoop. Like right there, like I'm Zion Williamson.
The games, the players, the fans. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. We do sports, and that's all we do. We're your hometown sports station. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
field. I wear my heart up on my sleeve like a big deal. Your love pours down on me, surround me like a waterfall. And there's no stopping us right now. I feel so close to you right now.
Welcome back. Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every night on Blab TV. 524 coming up at 5:30. We're going to talk with Brent Baird of Lindy Sports as he's going to break down some of the college stories going around, including David Ballou. Little bare necessities right there, getting a great guy to Alabama. Now, this guy looks like he is sort of the world's strongest man. He looks one of those guys that starts to put the extra powder in his hands. You know, pick up what are those barrels? The guys, what are the things that they do?
The boulder?
Oh, gosh. Some of those are just, it looks so easy on TV just to sit back and be like, yeah, I can do that. And they pick up, the biggest ones I think are, the tires, those full tires, the tractor tires. Get both sides, like out there. He looks like that dude. And he's pretty decent on top of that. He doesn't have to – half those guys don't speak English, so that wouldn't give them the job as guaranteed strength and conditioning coach. But this guy has gotten a lot of looks. Since he's been at Indiana, Hoosier, he's been one of those kind of guys that a number of NFL teams have been looking at. And
got news for you. This is the South. This is Alabama. This ain't Big Ten country, son. He better bring his A game coming down here.
So they don't have gymnasiums up there? I'm confused.
No, we do things different down here. Got to be hard-nosed.
Biggest people I've ever met.
Tide.
I was going to say.
Take down LSU and take down Georgia.
Thank you, man.
Indiana hadn't done that.
All right. Daryl from Georgia giving us a call here on the Fine Bombs.
Just saying.
8-5. I will say that the biggest people I've ever met were from Russia. So I don't understand what that means because that's pretty far north.
They're not strength and conditioning coaches. They're doing illegal things. You want to see their Olympic team?
Dude from Iceland.
They're doing illegal things, Chad.
That was wearing one of those like medium shirts that he was 7'5".
Hey, you're not going to say anything to that guy, though.
His name didn't have any vowels. But no, I will say, though, if you look right now at the guy, I don't know enough about it. And frankly, there shouldn't be a huge drop-off. Like Charlie Weiss to Nick Saban is a drastic drop-off. I mean, it's huge. In everything. Proportion.
Look, everybody would agree with you except Charlie Weiss.
One guy's larger in life in football, and the other one, well, you get it. But the thing about a guy like David Ballou is when it comes to strength and conditioning, with the resources, the facilities, it shouldn't be that far off. I mean, but he's pretty solid. He's one of the top guys. And Indiana, by the way, here, listen, Indiana came out of nowhere, too. So for people to go out there and say that, you know, if – what are we laughing about now?
Got a text on our studio line. Chad supports illegal dumping by Russia.
It's about on pace right now.
It's unbelievable. See, you see what happens? You support Russia? Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't. What kind of dumping are we talking about?
Do not know. I do not want to find that out.
But I'm going to say, like...
You don't know what to say.
No.
You see stammering. You guys hear that? There's something to this story. Chad, you want to elaborate?
David Ballou is going to be. Look, no, that's where we were until we got into Russian probes. Apparently, let's go into. I think it's a good hire. I'm not gonna sit here and act like an expert on this. I just guy looks like he knows what he's doing. People say. I mean, I could get into this if you want me to.
Please don't.
Here we go.
Please don't.
Indiana athletic performance coach is expected to go to Alabama with Ballou, and his name is Dr. Matt Ray. Ballou and Ray are two of the most respectful athletic performers and directing in this country, and been persuaded to come over and pursued by college teams and NFL teams since 2018. He played fullback at Indiana in the late 1990s.
Time for a break.
He has deep Indiana roots. He played high school football at Avon, folks, and went to Indiana. He's coached there for 14 years. He also coached at Notre Dame before coming to Indiana. He also worked at the prestigious IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida. There is David Ballou. I've given you nothing but just like a Wikipedia right there. Listen, we just know that he knows how to lift.
Oh, you're done?
Can he do it? Yeah. Can he do the most important thing? Can he copy yeah? Can he get that? That'd be
No, you don't want to do that.
Yes, you do.
Pave your own way. What?
So he needs a new saying like,
so you're saying,
just get out there.
How about that? By the way, on Talk Football with Coach
I'm
K
ready
today,
to
did
pump
you hear it?
You up. No. No.
I was going to attempt the yeah thing, and then I literally just said, nope. Chad, I would have to have Chad here to do this because you do the ultimate one.
Which one?
Coach Cochran.
Well, yeah, but I'm not going into the mic levels right now. I feel are too hot.
I know. I agree.
That's too.
I agree. I turn it all the way down.
I saw that earlier.
No, my thing on this though is, listen, I agree with you. There shouldn't be a drop off. I know this is tearing us down to something so simple. It's lifting weights, putting guys out there to ultimate performance. I mean, they study all the studies and technology and things we have like that. If anything, he's got more because Alabama has some of the best facilities around. You know that if there's anything, they're going to stay on top of it to be the best. That's what they've done. That's why they have all this money. They do this. I think for him, I don't know. For us to say, well, this is a great hire, well, we'll see. I mean, there's tons of guys out there like that, and if you're an Alabama fan, good for you guys. You got your replacement. You didn't have to wait very long. Scott Cochran going over to Georgia. A lot of Alabama fans, I haven't met, after all this stuff broke and some of my friends and stuff asking them, well, isn't that a big deal? They're like, dude, it's cool. Like, we like the guy.
The story's a lie.
But it's just like.
No, you're lying to everybody.
How?
Because you just said some of my friends. And that
that
immediately,
does sound like a lie.
So now you fabricated.
But there's these people that I pay to say
that.
they're my friends. I have to pay these people.
The rest might be. The rest of that story could be true, but I immediately.
But it's one of these things, though. It's like, this guy's strength and conditioning,
That's to me. I'll put it this way, and this is coming from some guy with a bird's nest haircut, but it's not that hard. I just gel it up. You've seen what it looks like, one of those wacky, wavy inflatable tube men, like what's going on up there. But I have to say, when you go to a place, I'm not gonna lie, $15. I'll go buy the Cuts by Us, and I go by, and when I walk in there, it's a quick snip. That didn't sound right.
Uncle does a good job.
No, yeah. And the thing is, you would expect everybody in that room to be able to cut it. Now, some people do. Now, most females, they have their own hairdresser. I get it. They look pretty, and you go, woo. But when it comes down, or it's like Scott Cochran, yeah. When you see that, like, going to the big.
You get your haircut?
When I see Brittany get a haircut like that, I mean, when she get, that's awesome. That's how I feel. We go to those balls and all that. But I gotta say,
you like balls.
I gotta say, I did love
dances.
sports.
Yeah,
what are you going to the dances? I'm talking about, if I walk in there, though, and they say, are you here to see somebody? I say, everybody is capable of cutting that hair. Don't you agree? When you go into a place, do you have a permanent person?
Not
do
getting
you really?
In the hair conversation.
No.
I don't care who cuts my hair.
That's exactly right. But that's what I'm saying. There might be one person in there that's a 20-year pro that knows how to cut hair, and there's a person that's learning on the job. I've had that happen. Like, this is my first day, and you're like, don't cut me in the back of the neck, dude. But that's the difference, is everybody knows if you tell them what type of haircut to cut. I want a one on the sides. I want my sideburns. I want it straight in the back. They should be able to do that. Strength and conditioning coaches, you might get a 20-year pro. You might get the first year. They should all know how to do their job in conditioning athletes. There has been things set in stone for a long time, and with the capabilities, you should get some of the best. It's the resources and you're working with 5-star guys. You're not working with Jiminy Cricket over here, who's sitting in at 6'1", 170. You're trying to muscle up into some goon. These guys are already the best of the world. Get guys looking like Lee and those kind of guys last year? Shoot, give me that kind of guy. I'll make something happen. I'll be Scott Cochran. Making it. No, I won't. I wouldn't do that. Coming back, Brent Baird and Lindy Sports will join us right here on the Sports Drive.
For all things NBA,
the league has not been this wide open in years.
ESPN podcasts have it covered.
This is what he wanted. He wanted to go somewhere and be the guy.
It's a different conversation.
All of us need to reconfigure our playoff odds right now.
With our best NBA voices.
Those two teams changed the course of this league.
That you really need to hear.
When they don't play well, they don't have a margin for error.
Listen now, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey y'all, it's tax season, and you know what that means. You can finally get that vehicle, and the place to go is Gordon Auto Wholesale on Palafox. Gordon Auto has been selling high-quality used vehicles for over 30 years in Pensacola, so you know they are a reputable place to go. Thoroughly inspect their inventory and are a certified Carfax dealer offering buy here, pay here. So if you have no credit or bankruptcy, no problem at Gordon Auto. Palafox, 2 blocks north of Airport. Call them today at 479-9200. That's 479-9200.
This is Carl on his motorcycle.
Let's ride till we run out of gas!
And this is Carl off his motorcycle.
Balsa wood is very different than teak. People confuse the two.
On his motorcycle.
Hey! Check out that view!
Off his motorcycle.
Let's do puzzles in the break room.
On.
Look at all that open road!
Off.
Look how long my fingernails are getting.
You're better on your bike. Progressive helps keep you on it. Get a quote in as little as 3 minutes at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Just felt there's a huge need in Pensacola to bring foot and ankle services, specifically orthopedic foot and ankle services, to this area. There's so much growth in Pensacola. I wanted a freestanding orthopedic foot and ankle center to do this, and as far as I can tell, this is the only one really in the country that's freestanding. Most orthopedic surgeons are part of a multi-specialty group. So we offer on-site x-rays, on-site CT scan, and on-site MRI. They can come to one place.
Visit NielsenOrthopedics.com to reserve your appointment today.
Wendy's has been showing everyone how to do fast food right for 50 years. And now they're showing them how 2 for $5s are done with Wendy's 2 for $5. It's the only one where you can get Wendy's fresh, never frozen beef and that Wendy's spicy chicken you crave. Pick 2 for $5. Choose between the juicy Dave Single, the tasty spicy chicken sandwich, 10-piece crispy, or spicy nuggets. Come in today and taste how a real 2 for $5 is done. Only at Wendy's. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada. Price and participation may vary for a limited time only.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
This is Davis Allen from Sports Call with Davis and Justin. You're listening to the Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
This ain't a song for the broken hearted.
Little Bon Jovi coming back. Classic right there. It's a great karaoke song. Welcome back to the Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. Great weekend for our local sports, by the way. UWF baseball and softball with the sweeps. Ice Flyers with back-to-back victories on Friday and Saturday. So, amazing week. We got the Cox Diamond Invitational Baseball Tournament as well coming up. So we'll keep you posted tomorrow. A big announcement from Pensacola Sports, too, as they'll announce as the Sun Belt Conference will be coming here for the big tournament coming up for basketball.
So
Pretty
really
exciting.
there's no announcement. You just made the announcement. You ruined it, Chad.
I didn't ruin it. I'm just
You
assuming.
ruined
I
it.
have not gotten any. I'm just winking and saying.
You ruined it.
First off, it's not like a. This is not being made
It's
on
fine.
like the top of a blimp. To the
People were planning on going out there and being.
This is
waiting,
open to
and
the
now you
media.
just-
Let's go ahead and talk some
Spoiler.
college football and more right here with Brent Baird of College Sports Notebook, 1010 XL Radio in Jacksonville, First Coast News, and more. Brent, I hope you had a great weekend.
It was. And by the way, for folks waiting on college football, wait no longer because the Miami Hurricanes, of all teams, started off today, and they got to going. Derek King, the transfer from Houston, very possibly being their quarterback. But one thing is for sure, Chad, I'm convinced they have got to play better. The only team to be shut out in the bowl game was Miami last year. Rhett Lashley is their new offense coordinator, was at Auburn, so looking for bigger and better things from the Canes, because I can tell you, I think that Diaz may have lost a year, frankly, by the way that their performance was last year, so he really needs to win. This year may be two and done for him, but if anybody's looking for college football talk, and somebody starting the Canes out.
Well, it can't get any worse. I mean, after what happened last year against Louisiana Tech, I mean, you lost some of the games too. Miami was the biggest. They just made no sense. They beat teams that were actually ranked, and then they lost to teams like Georgia Tech and Louisiana Tech and teams. So it just nothing with their schedule made any sense. And I think at this point they need a complete makeover. And Manny Diaz isn't going to be happy until somebody that offensively wants to be there and gets along with him. Because he seems like the type of coach like a Bo Pelini and other guys that isn't always easy to get along with in the locker room. And he's a defensive-minded guy. The first thing he did when he got there was fire the entire offensive coaching staff. So he's not the kind of guy that it seems to be working. So it's going to take somebody strong, a good offensive mind to walk in there and do it, because obviously they have the pick of the litter when it comes to getting good recruits.
Well, they do, but the problem is they're having too many other teams come down there and pick all players, and they're not able to keep some of the elite guys at home. Now, look, you ought to be able to recruit, as you said, within a what, Chad, a 50-mile radius of Coral Gables and get players, and they've got to replace a bunch of them. And the Pinckney kid, linebacker, Shaq Quarterman, who may have been the best player on the team. DJ Dallas is going to be gone. Jeff Thomas is going to be gone. So it will. I'm not saying it's going to be a complete rebuilding job, but the reality is they've got a lot to do in their spring game. I understand is going to be in a high school stadium, because of that and because of the ineptitude of the ACC network, it's not going to be on television, which is amazing. So, and another thing I wanted to bring out is in our notes that we share together, we do have dates now for media days. The SEC is July 13th through 16th. And a week later, now, did you catch that, Chad? A week later is the ACC media days in Charlotte. Usually, the last 3 or 4 years, they've overlapped the SEC. Well, thankfully, they have decided that was a debacle for them, and their media days are a week later, which for media who cover both of them is the best thing that could have happened.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense why they would do that. You're not going to compete against the SEC anyway when it comes to media days. Really, regardless of whether or not it's about the SEC, because we're in SEC country. But Brent, looking right now at everywhere I've lived, there's only really 1 or 2 media days that really gain a lot of interest around the country. I mean, to a point. The Big Ten media days but mainly the SEC media days. The SEC media days is the only one. Pac-12, when I lived out in Vegas, or even the Big 12, I mean, they don't get the kind of – it's happening, but you're not covering it with the big stories unless there's a big athlete or a coach coming in, like a Bob Stoops XFL type story. And I think – yeah.
Listen, did you see, too, now, this is amazing. Think about this. The SEC has 4 days. The Pac-12 has one. One day, Chad, for media days. How about that?
That's all they can afford right now with the network. But I will say, if you look at what's going on in college football as we get set to go, Jameis Winston is a guy that you've covered for a long time. Brent, watch this guy come through, and even from his days of being out there in Bessemer, Alabama, and moving his way up, and what he's done in his life, it looks like he's going to be out of Tampa. But I said I'm not ready to say that his career is done. I think he's going to get some more opportunities, but a lot of people are pessimistic that he'll ever have a shot to get back to being a playoff kind of guy or a champion. What do you make of a guy that threw for 5,000 yards and led the NFL, but also just broke records for the most picks in a season with his team missing out on the playoffs? Do you see Jameis in a new city? It looks like he's not coming back to Tampa, but if he goes to a new city, do you see a possibility of a resurrection and a guy to be something?
No, not unless he cuts down on the interceptions. That's been the problem all along. In college he could get by with that. You can't do it in the NFL, and he won't resurrect it unless that happens. And I think the other thing is he won't be resurrected unless he changes his attitude and has a better one, and he is. I mean, give the guy credit for being in the league. Well, we thought he'd be much more of a superstar than he has been, but I think right now, Chad, he would have to go to the right team that would have a lot of patience with him and who would have a really good offensive staff to help him start over his game somewhat.
Speaking with Brent Baird of College Sports Notebook, you can follow him on Twitter at Brent Baird, BEAIRD. Now, Brent, when you look right now at David Blue, I don't know a ton about the guy besides in a picture. He looks like somebody you don't mess with. But I will say he's gotten high praise from everybody. From a standpoint of the NFL, they've already looked at this guy. It sounds like he's bringing the other guy with him, Dr. Matt Ray, who's an athletic performance coach. But I sort of said, the thing about strength and conditioning coaches is, to me, it's like most guys go to a hair place and they get a haircut and they don't ask for a certain person unless you've known that barber forever, because you expect them to do the job. It's an easy cut, a one on the sides, whatever you need, and you expect it to be done. Now, there's some that you leave and you say, that wasn't that great, or somebody else, they give you the hot towel, the whole entire thing is awesome, and you just leave, but ultimately it's around the same. To me, strength and conditioning coaches, when you get to that level, not me or you or especially not JP, he's looking at me. But when it comes down to strength and conditioning coaches, they're all at that level in college and D1 for a reason. Yeah. But this guy seems like he gets high praises. I just don't think people making a huge deal, I don't think you're going to have much of a drop-off, if anything, from a standpoint of Alabama's productivity when it comes to the weight room.
No, but no stretch of imagination. And I think Nick Saban, frankly, was looking to eventually make a change anyway. These guys have just gone to different philosophy, and there's something wrong with that. Bama's had a lot of injuries the last 2 or 3 years. I'm not blaming that on Scott Cochran, but I think they just got to take a look at the program. See, Cochran was able to be recognized as one of the reasons, and deservedly so, that Saban rose from the ranks of after Mike Shula to take over that job and put Alabama in another stratosphere. And part of that was Scott Cochran in the fourth quarter program and making those guys bigger, stronger, and on the offensive line. And look, you remember the 2013 National Championship game, they were twice the size of Notre Dame and just basically ran over Notre Dame. You really can't do that as much anymore as you could then. And Cochran was a TV star. I mean, he had his own Regis Bank commercial. He had his own 5K. So Cochran was a guy, if you went to an Alabama game, he was on the Jumbotron. How many guys did you get like that? So he deserves credit, but your point's a good one in that, Chad, you can get 100 guys who are competent strength and conditioning coaches, and these guys from Indiana are much more than that. Bama's got this sports science building that they're opening at the end of the year, or maybe even at the beginning of the fall, and that would attract someone to come there anyway. So that's going to be fascinating to see where that goes. But no, they're not going to drop off a bit, but to show you how far they've come, when Cochran started there in 2007, he made $120,000. When he left last week, he was making $600,000.
Jeez.
Brent, JP here. I just want to switch things over real quick. My favorite, college baseball. Now, of course, Florida stays number one. They swept Troy, even though it was a lot closer. When you look at that 3-2 win with Troy. And Troy's a good team, by the way, for people that are knocking the Gators right now. When you look at this, though, I mean, just in the top 11 right here, you have 6 SEC teams. Now, I know LSU, of course, Oklahoma threw a no-hitter, 1-0. Incredible job by Acker right there for Oklahoma. But when you look at some of these teams, I want to go through this. With the SEC, we know they've always seemed to be dominant. I mean, but a lot of people are saying, well, the rankings, if you look at the top 25, they're SEC biased. I don't believe it. I just think it's the different brand when you talk about the SEC and how dominant they are. And to be honest with you, teams like Georgia, some of these teams are surprising to me, Brent. How do you feel about the SEC this year?
Look, it's not SEC bias. They're just better. That's just the bottom line. I mean, listen, even a rebuilding Alabama team has cranked the top 25. They're undefeated, they haven't really played anybody, but under Bohannon, that they're getting better. Scott Strickland, what he's done at Georgia is amazing. And by the way, in a couple of weeks, Georgia, I think, is 4, Florida's 1, and they'll be playing each other. So that will be quite interesting. But look, and this is with LSU. I say LSU struggling. That they'll be fine, but it's all they don't get no hit very often. But look, I'm with you. If you think they dominate in football, for crying out loud, it's not even funny how much better the SEC is in baseball.
Speaking with Brent Baird of College Sports Notebook, covering college sports across the board in the South. And Brent, getting over to basketball right now, a lot of teams sitting on the bubble. I love watching the final couple weeks because you see some of these teams, what Providence has done trying to get in, and these teams winning games, and everybody's fighting. And this is the type of year, it's the epitome of the year where it literally is wide open. If you get into the tournament as an 8 or a 9, that year Kemba Walker and UConn got in, I believe, as a 7, and they won it all. It's wide open. I think, tonight Texas Tech and Baylor are playing. Texas Tech last year was in the national title game. They're 18-11. If they lose this and they lose the next one, they're looking at a 9, maybe a 10 right there on the outside, where Baylor, who's playing at home tonight, is a 1, and this game could be a toss-up. It's that type of season. What do you look at when it comes to the SEC this year? And after Florida's had a couple tough losses down the stretch, do you believe that they're still in at this point, or do they have to make a pretty decent run in the SEC tournament?
No, they're in. Okay. Joe Lunardi has made that clear that you've got Kentucky, LSU, and you've got Auburn and Florida, or the 4 teams who are in. And look, now, Florida, if you're a Gator fan, would drive you crazy in watching them this season. I mean, Chad, how do you go 10 minutes the way they do with 1 or 0 field goals? It's absolutely amazing. Got behind by double digits to Tennessee, came back, and they almost won the game. They've got a dangerous game at Georgia on Wednesday night. Remember, this is a team that Florida got behind by 20-something points in the O-Dome, came back and won the game. But look, they've got they've got the individual parts, but they really haven't put it together. I think they'll be a high seed, but I do think they will get in. Now, the fascinating thing for them is going to be in the SEC general, who's going to be number 5. You've got a logjam there with South Carolina, Arkansas, Alabama, and Tennessee. Now, Bama's got the better net metrics in terms of strength of schedule in the net, but Mississippi State's also included in that group too. So I think the league will at least get 5 in, with Florida being the 4th team at this point. So Florida actually goes into this week against Georgia and Kentucky. They're in, but they need to keep winning to get a double bye in the SEC tournament and obviously to get a better seed than where they might be right now. But it's safe. It's safe to say, though, Chad, would it surprise you at all if Florida went to Georgia and lost and came back home and beat Kentucky?
No, not at all. And it's been that type of year across the board in the SEC, and it's not only in the SEC, in the country. And I mean, you'll see a Washington State beat an Arizona, and UCLA right now was sitting at the top of they're sitting at the top in conference record right now in the Pac-12, and they were looked at as a rebuilding process with Mick Cronin. So it's insane how crazy the whole entire season's been. But hey, Brent, we got to get to a break. I appreciate everything you do. Thank you every Monday for joining us on the show and getting to share insight in every sport across the board here in the South. We look forward to talking to you next week, my friend.
Me too, brother. Take care.
Appreciate it. We're coming back for more Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, Blab TV.
For all things NBA,
The league has not been this wide open in years.
ESPN podcasts have it covered.
This is what he wanted. He wanted to go somewhere and be the guy.
It's a different conversation.
All of us need to reconfigure our playoff odds right now.
With our best NBA voices.
Those two teams changed the course of this league.
That you really need to hear.
When they don't play well, they don't have a margin for error.
Listen now, wherever you get your podcasts.
This is Carl on his motorcycle.
Let's ride till we run out of gas!
And this is Carl off his motorcycle.
Balsa wood is very different than teak. People confuse the two.
On his motorcycle.
Hey! Check out that view!
Off his motorcycle.
Let's do puzzles in the break room.
On.
Look at all that open road!
Off.
Look how long my fingernails are getting.
You're better on your bike. Progressive helps keep you on it. Get a quote in as little as 3 minutes at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Anyone who has ever needed self-storage knows what a hassle it can be. You have to rent or borrow a truck and then find someone to help you move your stuff. And let's face it, moving furniture and heavy items without damaging them isn't easy. Renting the unit is worse. The hidden fees and admin costs are scarier than the dingy facilities you're leaving your stuff in. Why not use ClosetBox instead? ClosetBox is self-storage without leaving home. They'll pick up your belongings, store them securely, and bring any item back when you need it. The best part? Unlike traditional self-storage, you only pay for what you store. No paying for unused storage space. ClosetBox's background check storage movers are licensed, bonded, and insured and will take care of all of the heavy lifting. ClosetBox's local storage centers are temperature controlled and monitored 24/7. ClosetBox has an A+ rating from the BBB. Call 877-233-5696 now for the season's best rates. Get $50 off first month storage using code RADIO50. That's 877-233-5696. 877-233-5696.
Join us in Seville Quarter March 7th from 12 to 7 for Cordova Crawfish Company's Crawfish for a Cause, presented by Truist Bank and Sandy Sansing dealerships. Tickets are $20 in advance, $25 at the event. When you help yourself to 3 pounds of Cajun crawfish, corn, potatoes, and sausage, you're also helping your community. Through our partnership with Rally Pensacola, Crawfish for a Cause supports local families struggling with childhood cancer. We'll have live music and drink specials throughout the family-friendly event, and other food options are available. Buy tickets and learn more at crawfishforacause.com.
First Take, Your Take, with Jason Fitz.
Remember, it's not that long ago the 76ers over-exceeded expectations in the playoffs, right? So suddenly it became they are the future, and the future is now. Trust the process became this thing that works. Now they've hit a wall. And it's staggering to me to hear Embiid talk about he doesn't know if he's getting the ball. And Horford to say, we've got issues in the locker room, but we'll keep that private. Guess what? You just made them public.
1 to 2 weekday afternoons on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
The greatest name in sports radio is ESPN. Wherever you have Alexa, you can hear ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Just say,
Alexa, enable ESPN Pensacola 1330 skill.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head. I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been.
Welcome back, Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Your home for UWF Argonaut football, as tickets will be going on sale. You're national champions, baby. That's pretty sweet right there. If you're not first, you're last. That's what Ricky Bobby's dad said. And honestly, from a standpoint of a lot of times, and that's not true. You can be second. You can be third. Heck, I was high when I said that. You thought fourth, you can be fifth, dude. Yeah. But I will say, not me. That's from the movie, by the way. I'm perfectly fine. That's also up for debate. But I will say, though, being first, you do understand, though, when they won that first title, to be able to come back and win that, to win it all the second time around in the title game, it was huge. It was everything. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like at that point, going and playing Texas A&M Commerce, by the way, Luis Perez is the quarterback from he's giving me this. He's like, I gave you that information today on the show. Yes, you did. I'll give you credit. He's giving me these eyes like you had no clue that was true. I didn't actually until today on the XFL show. The Luis Perez, give credit where credit's due.
It's sad because I actually told you that last week and the week before.
Oh, I was not listening at all.
We were going over the roster.
I know Brandon Silver's here from Pensacola, baby. I know that.
Where did you go to high school? Gulf Shores. Come on.
Give me a second.
You got to know your local people, Chad.
I do. That's why I didn't know that right away. Because Gulf Shores, I'm sorry, I don't follow that. If you're in Defuniak Springs listening right now, I don't know every one of your players.
His hometown is here.
Okay, but if you played high school in Gulf Shores, that's big.
You were from here, but you left. Get out of here. Forget about it.
When he was in high school, I didn't know him, by the way. Since I've only been here 7-8 years.
Shame.
Schmuck. No, I'm joking.
It wasn't 7 years ago. He was in high school.
Listen, I wasn't here when he was at Gulf Shores, by the way.
They weren't very good.
This is how we're going to go out.
They weren't very good, by the way.
Here we go.
He was.
Let's give him some news before the break. Tony Romo, $17 million from CBS.
Ew.
Make you feel better about yourself.
Ew.
Honey Badger got the Derek Thomas Award. Look at this. Good story, by the way. He took what he wanted.
He's not from here. I don't care. Get him out of here.
That's the award for the team MVP. From rehab to holding up trophies.
If you ain't local, you're last.
This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, Sports Call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Coming up in the second hour of the Sports Drive, we're going to talk some, Joe Burrow talked about doesn't matter how big my hands are. Another athlete talked about something else this week at the Combine. JP will have more on that.
Smith has just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. It's across the middle, it is caught for the first. It's Baldwin shaking free and sprinting down the sideline for the touchdown. His third of the day. Doug Baldwin. Derek Brooks, who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl. Boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr. Baldwin beaten. The result has come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest, 992 for Gatlin. 992 by the American champion to take gold. Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. And this time, his name is Bubba. Scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
Welcome back. Second hour of the Sports Drive goes now on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. We appreciate you tuning in. Replayed midnight to 2 a.m. Always having some fun. I really enjoyed this weekend. Now, that's when you say, what did you do, Chad?
What did you do, Chad?
No, I didn't do much at all. I actually got to hang out with the family, went to the zoo. I actually invited you. I sort of regretted that leaving. I was like, this is supposed to be a family outing. But
I
you still didn't come.
That's why I didn't come.
Oh, sure. That's the reason right there. But, it would have been fun, by the way. You could have named the llamas. We got to see the hippos. They're out of the water.
I heard you tried to name it, and Leighton was not having it. So, no.
I know you had a lightsaber. You were one of the guys trying to sell fraudulent lightsabers outside Pensacon, but it's all right. It happens. It was actually
define fraudulent, though. I mean, they work. They work.
You trap some fireflies, and you tape them to a broom.
Listen, the lightsabers, you don't have a clue what's inside that lightsaber. I'm just saying. Fireflies, they light it up. People were happy. Paid me a lot of money.
I took a shot in Key West, and a lady said the exact same thing.
Well,
it was pretty good, though. It's called the lightsaber. It was just saying.
You had a bunch of fireflies.
Just like what a lightsaber could do in the movie. That's what it did to my stomach. But I will say, though, it's been one of those kind of weekends. It was nice. It was enjoyable. I watched a lot of XFL football. The product's not bad. I think there's some things that obviously we need to look at, which is the quarterback play. There's not one star of the league that's, don't expect to sit here.
False.
False?
There's not one star of the league? Yeah, there is one. No, now, how are you going to naysay that? You know what I'm talking about.
Well, you're going with P.J. Walker.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, yes. First off, I'm not a big
it's the XFL, though. The guy's pretty good for that, especially when you talk about the XFL. And Landry Jones is supposed to be the guy, which he leads the league in interceptions, which that knee injury.
That's true.
That may sideline him for the rest of the year.
P.J. Walker, Pride of Temple, by the way. You think Bill Cosby asked, hey, guys, scoot over. I got to watch this from the correction center? Well, I'm just saying, big time. Big Owls fan.
Yeah. I mean, let's go back to the P.J. Walker.
I know you were wondering about that the other day. Like, does he get to watch his Temple Owls? I think that's on.
It's not me. But let's remember, P.J. Walker was a guy that wasn't even going to be in the league until Andrew Luck, of all people, told his dad, hey, check this guy out. Hey, well, look, it worked out for everybody. How about that?
I'm glad you just dug the trench to the next comment I'm about to make. So P.J. Walker is right now. This is not where it's supposed to go, but I just did the research on it. P.J. Walker is a guy that right now is undefeated, 4-0 with the Houston Roughnecks, who, by the way, are taking some of the blunt for the Astros. They were getting trash cans banged against them. We're like, we don't even know these guys, right? Been in the league for 4 games, man, but they're still getting it. Jose Altuve. By the way, when they were cheering, give back your MVP, give it to Judge, he actually turned around.
On this note, but I have to say this. Did you watch the Cubs today?
You're deflecting from the P.J. Walker.
No, I want to say this.
Okay.
Or do you want me to come back to it?
Yeah, real quickly. I want to make this point. It's going to be real quick.
That's fine.
P.J. Walker Temple played against UCF 4 times, got beat by an average score 49-10.
I see.
Okay, back to you guys. So the pride, the face of the XFL, 49-10. Boom, yours. Go. Okay. All right, there you go. Point was made.
All right. Well,
point's been validated by everybody out there driving.
That's what you have to do if you're UCF.
There you go. Go Knights. The face of the XFL got beat by an average of 39.
Well,
your turn.
Well, okay, perfect. Actually, thank you for that.
How about those Cubs? How about them?
I've been trying to tell you about this UCF and all the dogging you've been doing about the XFL and how terrible these guys are. You're right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
You know.
No. So anyway,
now our UCF Knights will make a lot of the game. We'll be pros now. We're not getting into.
Just never mind.
Continue.
Anthony Rizzo and Chris Bryant were mic'd up.
I saw that.
Yeah. So I was watching it. I'm not sure. Were you watching it like live or whatever?
I was watching it live while I was at Moe's. I was eating my Moe's Monday right there.
So sitting there watching, it's so funny. Rizzo comes up to the plate, which, by the way, I know it's spring training. They do this. That's cool. Like the All-Star game, they had players mic'd up while they were out there. I like that. The one thing, if you're a hitter, though, you don't need people in your ear talking. Unless you're the Astros and they tell you what pitch is coming. That's fine. What I'm getting at is Rizzo is going up to the plate for his at-bat, and they're sitting there, commentaries like, oh, hey, so what are you looking for in this at-bat? Pitcher's about to pitch, and he's like, a fastball. Like, okay, so what's your first pitch, what's your thought process right now? Trying to get a hit here, you know. And he's sitting there, you can hear him talking to himself as well, but I think it's crazy. First things first, I hate that, because I know as a hitter, even as a pitcher, when you zone in, it's hard enough, and that's not even at the highest level. Imagine a guy throwing 95 with a breaking ball that falls off the table, and you've got somebody in your ear. So what's your process right here? It's like, get out of here. Mendoza, I'm sorry. I'm not a big fan of hers, but get her out of here. The other thing.
They tried to actually, it backfired. The original mic'd up was actually, it was Yu Darvish and Wilson Contreras, but it did not go over well. No, continue, please.
No, but I thought it was so funny. Rizzo, of course, Rizzo is a clown anyway, but they got 2 strikes on him, and they're like, so what are you thinking here? He goes, I don't know. Can you guys give me a bang on the trash can for me? Tell me what it is. They just die laughing. I thought it was so funny. And that's something that Rizzo's a nice guy about that. These are just thinking about that, because afterwards, of course, people, commenting on articles and things like that. Oh, that's just a low blow, whatever. Buddy, if you think that's a low blow, hang on, because this is going to be an eventful year.
They deserve it. They deserve the repercussions.
I don't know.
Somebody's like, isn't this guy a Pats fan? But no, I will say, it's like what
perfect.
Deflect.
They deserve it.
Remember the other team. This is the funny part is Boston's still getting standing ovations and winning games and not even like anything. And we also fired our manager for this. I just love that. This is
perfect.
Patriot way, man. They've learned from the city. But I will say they deserve it, because for a couple reasons. There's a couple things of why, to me, they deserve it. Because Houston was that team we got behind, like a fun-loving group of guys. It reminded us of like T-ball when we went somewhere and we won something. And I know you guys never did that, but like when we went somewhere and won, or AU travel ball teams and those kind of things.
You said T-ball.
But the thing.
Were you a champion at T-ball?
Well, I got held back 14. I was 14, but I was slugging it.
Wait a minute, you struck out 30 times that year at T-ball.
Hey, listen, I also, just like Jameis, blame LASIK. But I'm saying, but when I did get a hold of it, I mean, I like stepped and I was at first base. It was pretty cool. But I will say, though, that you look at like what they've done so far. They were the team that if you were rooting for, pretty much if you weren't a fan of one of the teams they were playing, like the Dodgers or the Nationals, you're rooting for them. Because they were the fun guys, young guys. George Springer seemed like a cool dude. Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa. Gurriel was clutch. You had a really nice dude as a manager in A.J. Hinch, who seemed like just like a fatherly type figure, nice guy. Wasn't one of those old curmudgeons rocking. Not Leo, if I'm talking Leo. I like Leo Mazzoni, so I'm not. That's not a Leo dig there. But that's well. I was like, wait a second. I love Leo, man. Leo's one of the best.
Nice guy.
Yeah, right next to Bobby, right there. Bobby Cox, right next on the dugout, right there the whole time.
The world.
But the thing was, I look at it from a standpoint of like we wanted to root him on, and then they take out Aroldis Chapman, who was the guy from Cuba who had domestic abuse charges against him and threw 103, the big bad Goliath coming in here, and he just gets rocked. But then you start to think from a baseball, we were too busy celebrating at that time, but then you go, how do you hit a slider from a guy that throws 103 that perfect? And then you see the videos, which none of us pay attention. This is like a David Copperfield, David Blaine thing. Nobody on their couch is like, when they're celebrating that moment, it's like, wait, psst, he might be running. There's a shot that he'll be running towards home plate and grab for something that might fall out of his shirt. That could be like a pager from Olive Garden kind of thing that's beeping him. Nobody ever said, because we're not looking for that. And now we look back and you go, man, that's not only fishy, that's pretty ridiculous right there. I'm not even, the banging on the trash cans, all this, whatever. That sounds more like archaic, like some kind of like prehistoric guy, caveman, smash. You could have some drunk fan doing that. Yeah, listen, you could have someone like, oh, and doing that, and a guy hitting it right behind you 3 times, and you could pick that up. I'm not as worried about that as you're wearing electronics that beep you in to tell you exactly where the pitch. That's something over the top. I mean, and that helps a ton. Me and you were both pitchers, and I was a guy that threw nothing but junk because my fastball wasn't that good. But still, if people knew the curveball, which looked more like an eephus pitch, but if people knew that was coming across, they could wait and time it, and it would be no joke.
So hold on. On that note.
Yeah.
Now, you say you had an infinity ERA, correct?
Okay.
How do you? No. Hold on. I'm backing you here.
You start the conversation with that. This is a backing.
Think about it, Chad.
All right.
This started a long time ago when you were in college. Whoever you were playing, they knew what was coming.
My daughter loves Buzz Lightyear. To infinity and beyond. That's what one day I knew.
But they knew. Somebody had your signs. Somebody was buzzing in, and that's what it was.
They didn't need it for that inning. I really wasn't expecting to pitch. I came off the bench with some sunflower seeds.
I tried to
back you
up.
It was, by the way, I have probably a record, by the way. I don't know if there's probably some other guy out there that's.
Do you have any eligibility to go out there? Any? We got to get you out there.
I don't want to get back out there.
No, we got to end it. We got to end that ERA. You can't let it be Look, we can
we could do some kind of like one of those moments where they run the guy back out on the mound and like do like one of these ESPN 30
Mr. 3000
on the Ocho right there. Yeah, exactly, Mr. 3000 moment where they put me back out there and the first 3 guys just rocket for home runs, but I finally get that out after
it's over, baby.
The Wahoos can put me out. I'll call Jonathan. We'll see. And we'll see
luck.
if we can. We'll get. Yeah, they're not going to be answering those, but yeah, I do.
I'm just saying.
I do. Look, the guy. This is what happened. Got put into a game. The score was 3-1. Now, I go out there in the 7th inning. I got put on the mound, and there was already a guy at first and third. And the next pitch was wild, so the guy at third base was just some biggins that didn't want to run. Thank God for that. Guy goes to second, now second and third. Guy comes up and knocks them in on a double. And the next guy went out there, and once again, another wild pitch. It shows a lot about my career. And the next guy hit a ball, singled up the middle, and 3 runs came across the plate, but only 1 was earned. So doesn't matter when you have an infinity ERA because I never got anybody out. So there was nothing to divide that 1 run, that 1 earned run. in my career. So in the record books, it says 2 hits, 3 runs, 1 earned run, and nothing to divide it by. So not a fun moment right there. So there it is. That was it. And then I tore my rotator cuff, probably at the blessings of UCF. Maybe that was the report. Maybe I didn't have it. Maybe that doctor. Maybe I need to go back and look at the doctor. There could be some conspiracy. Like, my shoulder's fine, dude. Like,
it's all started.
He's like, yeah, sir. He's got a torn. I don't feel it. You have a torn rotator cuff, son. Get out of here right now. But I will say, though, when it comes down to the signs, Houston, they deserve it from a standpoint because we truly believed, and I felt like we were all conned. Nobody ever truly believed in the New England Patriots. You're all lying to yourself. You guys I've been at the bar from day one. No, that's not true. My dad didn't take me there. Restaurant first and then afterwards.
Your dad was about to be getting a lot of calls.
I found in Orlando, I found actually places in the middle. It was called the Boston Chowder House, and the middle of, that sounds like a place, so you watch the Pats, right? Boston Chowder House. So it's in Celebration outside of Orlando. Now, anybody that's been to UCF's campus in Orlando or around there knows if you drive out to Celebration, it's like a 45-minute drive through Disney traffic, all that international drive. It's just nonsense. Traffic everywhere. I would go all the way out there to watch, because it was the one place that Patriot fans would meet. It's like 8,000 Steeler bars on the way there, but that was the one place. But from day one, since I've been there, not one person has ever rooted for them. Even when Curtis, my favorite, Martin, Scott Zolak, and a bunch of hobos were out there, everybody still mocked them. So I don't want to hear it from day one. Everybody's always hated the Pats since Belichick and Brady. I'm used to it. I get that. We actually loved the Astros, and they completely conned us. And the Pats didn't actually cheat. Back to you, if you'd like to add to that. I wanted to add that last part.
You summed it up.
It was pretty.
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
But it's not going to get any better for him. And the manager stepping in, I mean, not the manager, but the commissioner, Rob Mansford, coming out there and being like, this is not going to happen, or, we just stop throwing it. We need to stop doing that. Unless you start hitting them with like a $100,000 fine, it's going to still happen.
We're hitting them.
Just a full-out retaliation. That's what I would do. And like a real bad game in the season, like if they're playing a game and, a team's already well below 500, get one of those teams is full-out retaliation mode, like both teams.
Get them.
And from the dugouts, they're not even on the mound yet. They're throwing balls back at each other like one of those kids' movies.
What is going on?
How many, at this point, any way that they survive under 84 bean balls by the end of the year? Unless there's a mandate from Manfred.
That's where I think that I wonder.
The Manfred mandate?
The Manfred mandate. I think if there's something like that, then yes. But if he doesn't say anything and they just, they give these little fines and things like that, no, because it's well worth it. You can ask any of these guys to do what they did. But I feel like Manfred is going to do something. I think that, look, it's calmed down in spring training. They heard us talking about the bean counter already. Not anything else. Not going there. But I think that, listen.
It's a rude comment about Jose Altuve. But
they're telling people right now, look, save them. Save them for the regular season.
Yeah.
Let's make this count here. Or, in my opinion here, you got the spring training, you got these guys that are, not going to be on the roster, going to go to the minor leagues, be like, here you go, here's an extra 100. Hit that guy.
I think it'd be funny. He probably would get cut from the team, but I think it'd be very funny if somebody went out there and actually had a sign in their hands, and the sign said, I wasn't on the Astros until this year, like spring training. One of these guys moving up. Like, I just got traded from the Twins. That would be hilarious. Like, please don't take, like some guy. Now coming up, Larry Johansson. He's like, just got called up, boys. Was at UC Irvine last year. Don't know these guys. And he's good. Don't hit him. Don't hit him. Peg him, man. Be like, oh, don't know this team, bro. The best sign of the year so far goes to the lady that brought the sign, though, that said, I had a cooler sign at the stadium, but the Astros already stole it. So there you go. That wins the award. She wins. That was good. I mean, it didn't take, rocket sign, but it was good. It was clever, to the point. Sometimes the best.
The less we think, the better.
Obviously how this show goes, right? Just straight to the point, right?
Yes, that's exactly
that's
right.
That's what we do here. It's just always
wait a minute.
So succinct, right to the point.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Someone's like, weren't you going to talk about that energy drink story that you introed at 5? Oh, yeah, that's true.
I totally forgot about that, too.
6:18. Intro this.
Close enough.
When we come back.
Oh, jeez, no.
We're going to talk about why Ed Ogeron, and it's a good thing. He's the only one. You don't have to worry about saying those energy drinks are bad for you, right? Because for Ed, it helped him in a lot of ways. We'll tell you how. Maybe when we come back right here on the Sports Drive.
Maybe.
ESPN Pensacola, Live TV.
Hey, this is JP with Talk Football with Coach K in the Sports Drive. This spring is all about XFL football. Well, the XFL season is ramped up and brought with it a lot of excitement. We look forward to bringing you the most comprehensive coverage you can find on the Gulf Coast. From interviews featuring players, coaches, and administrators, predictions of the weekend ahead, and the breakdown of the past week's games, we have it here. It's the XFL show right after Talk Football with Coach K every Monday and Friday at 12:30 on ESPN Pensacola and streaming live on YouTube.
Bowling is a sport that will last you a lifetime, and at Cordova Lanes on Airport Boulevard, every night there is something exciting happening. Like on Tuesday and Thursday, it's penny a pin. Bowl 100, pay $1. Or how about starting your weekend off right by reserving a lane for just $25 at Moonlight Bowling. Enjoy a fresh-made pizza and the lowest pitcher prices in Pensacola. So what are you waiting for? It's time to roll your way into Cordova Lanes and experience fun like never before.
Hear ye, hear ye. I bringeth thee a message from... a message from the king and his new trumpeter, Stephen. The king wishes me to convey his favor to thine team and thine tailgate. Not yet. He invites thee to let the Bud Light flow forth. And he also wishes me to tell thee that he toasts thee. Waiteth until the end, Stephen! With game day's favorite light lager and the slogan of his kingdom... Oh! Dilly dilly!
Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
Bowling is a sport that will last you a lifetime, and at Cordova Lanes on Airport Boulevard, every night there is something exciting happening. Like on Tuesday and Thursday, it's penny a pin. Bowl 100, pay $1. Or how about starting your weekend off right by reserving a lane for just $25 at Moonlight Bowling. Enjoy a fresh-made pizza and the lowest pitcher prices in Pensacola. So what are you waiting for? It's time to roll your way into Cordova Lanes and experience fun like never before.
ESPN Radio is taking over. ESPN News. You can now watch your favorite radio shows all in one place. From Golic and Wingo.
Oh, yeah.
To the Dan Levitard Show with Stugotz.
All right, I'm available every day. Thanks.
To the Stephen A. Smith Show.
I just don't understand this guy.
To the Will Kane Show.
It's my job to tell the truth.
From morning to night, the best of ESPN Radio is now available on ESPN News.
Football season never ends on Talk Football with Coach K.
Stidham is tearing it up at New England. He may well be the incumbent to Tom Brady there.
Former head coach of the Buffalo Bills, Coach K brings his expertise as he breaks down the game, the players, the coaches, and the front office. Plus, high-profile interviews from the biggest names in football. Talk Football with Coach K every weekday from noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1.
Saturdays are live and local on Sports Call with Davis Allen and Justin Patrick.
Can you guys actually say laissez les bon temps rouler?
Laissez les bon temps
Laissez
bon temps rouler.
Laissez les bon temps rouler.
You heard that?
It's sports talk with a lot of chill. Every Saturday from 11 to 1 on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
That was funny.
We do sports, and that's all we do. We're your hometown sports station, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
It's crazy when the thing you love the most is the detriment. Let that sink in.
And welcome back. Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Don't say a word.
How dare you talk over Halsey?
She's not here. Come back. That's why people are tuning in. Hey, you know, honey, I might have a couple minutes driving the kids to soccer practice or coming home from work and get some Halsey in there.
Halsey?
I don't even know. Who's it? Hazley?
Halsey?
Come on. I'm not down with the... All I know is she performed outside of the All-Star weekend, like outside, and that wasn't bad. That's all I'm going to say. Hey.
Hey.
Was she singing? No. 850-623-1330 was the number. Right now, talking about what it takes to...
Energy drink.
Get great. No, we will do that. I have not forgot that.
People
but I want to,
like,
before this needs to be brought up because we're about to go down a path you definitely don't think we're going on. Judge Judy, She just finally.
You win.
Like, yeah, there you go.
You win.
Judge Judy made about 20-something million per year by her show. That's insanity. For just telling
Shame
people.
on us for watching
some of those, like those court cases, though, like the landlord came home to find out that the goldfish, Thompson, the goldfish, wasn't alive. Repercussions for the damage to the goldfish and the tank. $5. And they're like, and you have these like people walking in with like a shirt like I love Dale Earnhardt, and you're like, you know what? Get them out of here. Get them out of this courtroom. I don't have time for this case. And Judge Judy gets paid a ton for that. So some of them are worth it, you know. They used the wrong insulation. What she didn't know is was that her grandmother in the trunk of the car? Like, where are we going with this? Like, and then that's probably not for Judge Judy. Actually, that's not or People's Court on that one. But I will say though, if you talk about the difference between making that type of money, she finally came to an end after not her, but her show. Somebody's like, she died. Yes, 25 years. 25 years. What a terrible way to say somebody retired right there. She's finally done. 25 years though. Her show is done at this point, and it made me look up some of the people that made outlandish numbers that we didn't know of. Because we knew she had a show. Everybody knows Judge Judy. She'd get a little grumpy and yell at people. But not too many people know she made over $100 million off of that show. Kimi Räikkönen. Not 100% if I'm saying it right. Kimi Räikkönen. How much you want to take a ditty at this one, or take an OJ? At how much do you believe he made per race? I'll give you a clue. He's Formula One.
Well, they usually make a decent amount, I guess.
$100? $100?
No, not 100.
Low
those cars, listen, I know how much those cars are worth and how much they cost to run.
I'm the jewelry store that's always got a clearance sale going on. $100, man? $100? What do you think this is? Like $5 million? Be like, no, I was going to say 7,000. Close. I got 6,000. I conned you. That's not even real gold, dude. But come on.
A race?
$200
per race?
$200, right? $5,000.
Give me $500,000 a race.
$500,000. There you go.
He makes
$3 million a race. That's,
all right.
So the Judge Judy category of we might not know who you are, but you make the most money of anybody per event, pretty much. Does anybody make him and the guy that goes, Michael Buffer, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble. Like, those are the two guys that make the most money when it comes down to like per minute. It takes like, even if you were like, and we're here at the beautiful Mandalay Bay, that still only takes so much time. So per second, this guy makes pretty much like $4 million now, Michael Buffer. Yeah, Kimi Räikkönen. $2.9 million actually just threw extra 100,000 in there. $2.9 million per race for Ferrari. He signed a 3-year, $153 million deal back in 2007. Look at inflation, too. That was 2007. Forget about it. It's like 3.3 now. Whew.
So he makes $63 million a year, pretty much.
It's insanity right there.
That's not my math. It's calculator, by the way. I don't trust my math.
What a great job. Even if, like, there is not too many things even on a race. I guess there's a lot of things that could be terrible on it. But Michael Schumacher, that most of us know, $1.9 million per race.
So this guy makes more. Okay, wow,
yeah.
that's impressive.
He's not the guy in the Heineken commercial, is he?
No.
The guy's older now. That's the only guy I know from 40 years. I'm still racing, and he just like drinks the Heineken. It's so smooth, that guy. Yeah, he just like tosses him the beer. And first, I'm like, the guy. I want that guy at the end of the commercial to be like, I'm not a bartender. Like, tosses it back to him. Like, I don't work here. Why are you hating it? But yeah, $2.9 million a race. What is the most outlandish contract that you remember in sports? The Bobby Bonilla, like 50 years, he's going to make like $1.5 million. That's pretty insane. He signed a deal that pays him $1.5 million. It's called Bobby Bonilla Day in July, where he gets, I think it's $1.5 million for the next 40 years of his life.
I mean, I still go back, and it's not outlandish, but I scratch my head whenever it happened. Is the Bryce Harper contract? You pay that guy.
Oh, you were saying you scratch your head every time. I'm sorry. Okay.
Right. No, but the Bryce Harper contract still blows my mind. You pay that much for a guy that bats 240, 250. He's going to strike out a ton. Yeah, that's some home runs. He's going to give you who knows what every night. I know it's not outlandish, but just the money they gave that guy. How's it worked out for him, by the way? Just want to throw that out there. The Nationals said.
It's only been 1 year, but.
Well, the Nationals said thank you. It's funny. You lose your best player, and you go on them. Do what they did.
Priceless. Roy Oswalt, by the way. What a quick drop-off. I know he's getting older, but there was a quick,
What's he doing?
not wearing Astros gear anymore. That's what he's. I mean,
Jeff Bagwell threw all his stuff away.
Everybody does it.
Craig Biggio's like, no.
Everybody
thanks.
shows up in the team they played like a couple months for at the end of their career. Like they're known always as Astros. You know, those guys they show up on the other teams. Did Craig Biggio play with anybody but them? I'm trying to think. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Bags. I don't think any of those guys. Those guys were all loyal.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's crazy.
And they're all staying quiet right now. But
Berkman,
the Killer Bees out there. But Roy Oswalt, I think, takes the cake on this one. By the way, Roy Oswalt's dream was to own a bulldozer. Hey, look at many people in the South driving the car right now. It's like, I got you.
20 years with Houston.
20 years ago. So back in 2005, Drayton McClain drew up an agreement that said if Oswalt won Game 6 of the NLCS, he'd get a bulldozer. He did, and that was added onto his contract.
That's awesome.
So it's pretty cool right there.
What could you do with a bulldozer?
To me, that's two things. I would. You don't want me with a bull. What do you mean? That sounds like a terrible day at the office. Me with a bulldozer.
It's a great day at the office. Not for the people at the office.
Some of the way right there at Olive and Davis, how people drive. You wouldn't want me with that on this street legal right there. Yeah.
Cut me off, will you?
Yeah, you're not coming back this week.
Oh, Granny, the one that ran into you at Publix. There you go. Scoop him right up.
Just CW era news radio.
Let
Some
Dan-
guy
let
ran
Dan
over 50 families with a bulldozer.
But Dan has to report on it, though.
How would it be sports related?
Because you're Chad. That
because
makes
I
it
won
perfect.
Game 6?
Yes.
Tie that in somehow. Just like Roy Oswalt. This guy ran over everybody with a bulldozer. No, there's a little laziness to the story, though. Because he made, like, I think $18 million one season when he was with the Rangers at the end when they paid him a lot. Like, just go buy your own you-know-what bulldozer. You know what?
Yeah, if you can get a free one, well, why
pretty
not?
cool in there. Bunch of money on a John Deere tractor back in the day for blue chips. Well, when it comes to recruiting, Ed Ogeron will do just about everything. We know that. And I do stay up a lot, and you know how much coffee I drink. Got another glass right here on top of this. This is coffee, by the way. But when it comes down to Ed O, he's notorious for
everything.
Drinking about 6 or 7 Red Bulls a day, energy drinks. And I hope he has good life insurance too. But at this point, I will say, though, that it paid off last year. The energy, the Go Tigers, everything about it was awesome. It was a lot better when he was winning. When he was an intern trying to figure it out, it was different. Well, when it comes down to the story of trying to recruit Clavion Chason, a guy that was from Houston and was highly recruited by Tom Herman. But remember back in 2017, he was a 4-star linebacker, and Chason was a guy that, remember, Herman was the first candidate for LSU, and he ended up going with Texas, got that money, and
good call.
Longhorn Network was coming. Hey,
Texas.
Played him straight up this year. He said, "Don't mess with Texas." What? Who knows? He might have. You know what he said about Roll Tide? Edo might have dropped one of those too. But in this case right here, Chason talked about how he ended up coming to LSU, and it's not your typical story, but it sounds like an Edo story. Here it is.
I was going to take my talents to Texas, and kind of wasn't having that. So he set up a home visit. I was on the way to Florida for official visit. And I was like, Coach, we don't have time for a home visit. I'm about to head out. Man, he came to my house at 4 a.m. knocking on the door while everybody sleep. And then he made sure he got his visit in. And I was like, Coach, we got to head to the airport. We got to be there for 6. And he literally followed me to the airport and walked me all the way through TSA and just like, bro, we got to have you, please, please. And he's like, I know what to do with you. I'm telling you, we're going to be the best of the duo. And I mean, I felt like that. But any coach do all that, it's definitely more than a job to him. It's personal, and I feel like we gained the connection throughout just being my first college offer before I played it down in varsity football.
That's awesome.
That is pretty cool. I mean, but think about that. He was supposed to go to, first off, Florida
this
fans.
This guy is stalking you around.
There's a couple things that happened there. Florida fans are like, son of a.
Can I just say one thing real quick?
Please go.
4 a.m. This
you are the co-host. I hope you say more than one thing.
Edo knocks on my door at 4 a.m. I'm sorry. I'm not letting that guy in. It's a scary dude.
Well,
okay. I'm going
first off,
off
he did this, by the way, in Texas, out of all places.
It's an easy way to get shot.
I was gonna say, if you did this
they
in
have
like
dogs with guns,
if
over
you
there.
did this in North Dakota or Seattle or somewhere like that, it's one thing. But
North Dakota.
No, sorry, they're
just
like
random North Dakota.
Just throw that in there because they're not listening. But I will say though, for doing it in Texas, you go anywhere in the South in Texas and knock on a door at 4 a.m. and you're still here. That's
Congratulations.
Maybe stronger for it. That's what that in itself is a reason why I would dude, he didn't know if my family owned 15 shotguns and he still did this. That's dedication right there. That is dedication. Even more than Chason said. I mean, he walked right up to a house in Texas at 4 a.m. and did not care.
He knew what he was doing.
That's awesome right there.
That's my
coach.
He
didn't know what he was doing. He could have been shot. That's not smart. I don't condone this to anybody out there listening. Somebody's trying to prove a point, I'm going to get the love of my life back. She lives in Lubbock and does the same thing and knocks on her the daddy's ranch who told him to get away, and they're like, I'm here for you, Belinda. I'm just throwing out a random name. That sounds like
Belinda.
Texas. It's not a bad Texas name.
That's a rancher
Belinda
name.
looks like a name with a big hair, doesn't it? Belinda looks like a big hairdo.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
This is getting very stereotypical. So all of a sudden, the dad comes out with a shotgun. No, we're just digging down the Texas. Get out of my yard! Somebody's like, I'm going to do it, Ed. You set the bar, so I'm going to be. Just not a good look. Don't go on somebody's Texas ranch at 4 a.m. Even Gene Stallings, I would not do that.
No.
First off, don't wake up an 85-year-old man at 4 a.m. either. Actually, he's already
up. He's been up for a couple of hours.
He's already done laps at the mall. He's been.
Just say he's done laps at the mall. No,
he's not Gene, not Coach Stallings, but
walked his dog out there.
He's already read the paper. He's already He's already to go to dinner.
So disrespectful.
We're coming back from. They're not listening. They're in bed. Just stop. They're coming back from Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, and Blab TV.
First take, your take with Jason Fitz.
Remember, it's not that long ago the 76ers over-exceeded expectations in the playoffs, right? So suddenly it became they are the future and the future is now. Trust the process became this thing that works. Now they've hit a wall. And it's staggering to me to hear Embiid talk about he doesn't know if he's getting the ball. And Horford to say, we've got issues in the locker room, but we'll keep that private. Guess what? You just made them public.
1 to 2 weekday afternoons on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Just felt there's a huge need in Pensacola to bring foot and ankle services, specifically orthopedic foot and ankle services, to this area. There's so much growth in Pensacola. I wanted a freestanding orthopedic foot and ankle center to do this, and as far as I can tell, this is the only one really in the country that's freestanding. Most orthopedic surgeons are part of a multi-specialty group. So we offer on-site x-rays, on-site CT scan, and on-site MRI. They can come to one place.
Visit NielsenOrthopedics.com to reserve your appointment today.
When working at a growing business, you wear many hats. The new business hat, the buying toner for the copy machine hat, the sifting through tons of resumes hat. You can throw away that last hat thanks to Indeed.com. When posting your job, Indeed lets you add screener questions that give you a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates. So go ahead, dust off that extra long lunch hat. Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
To give batters a different look, pitchers throw a changeup.
Your idea of a different look is sunglasses.
That's true. But La Quinta Inns and Suites is really taking the different look thing to a new level.
Definitely a major league makeover, starting with a bolder, brighter lobby full of comfortable spaces to let you settle in.
Or chill out in front of a big flat screen like Wingo would.
Oh, you know it. It's a changing La Quinta look to help you get in the zone and look sharp when you hit that big meeting.
Prepare to win at business with La Quinta Inns and Suites.
Book now at LQ.com.
ESPN Radio is taking over ESPN News. You can now watch your favorite radio shows all in one place. From Golic and Wingo.
Oh, yeah.
To the Dan Levitard Show with Stugotz.
All right, I'm available every day, thanks.
To the Stephen A. Smith Show.
I just don't understand this guy.
To the Will Kane Show.
It's my job to tell the truth.
From morning to night, the best of ESPN Radio is now available on ESPN News.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You can watch Chad on the Sports Drive live right now on our YouTube channel at ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Welcome back. Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. It says the NBA is now prepping on strategies for the coronavirus. Can I get paid as a consultant for this? Just be like, hand sanitizer? That's all I got for you right now. Like here's a just that happened here at work. You know, we were on top of it. Everybody. Thank you, by the way. Oh man, one of those cuts, dude. You should have told me. I just had like a bad paper cut. Right, that's the worst. When
I should have told you.
Chad,
your bad paper cut.
That's even worse of me. I didn't know what you put into my hands, and I just started rubbing it together, and then there you go. That is hand sanitizer, by the way.
Kills 99.99%.
Now I feel better. But listen, live your lives, people. That's.
Don't be stupid, but I mean it's. I mean,
60,000 people a year die from the flu. We have 2 cases so far. Florida, let's just live life. Be safe. Don't go around. If you see a bunch of people with masks and they maybe look a certain ethnicity, don't walk up there and just be like, hey. That might be not a good idea unless it's family. Just be there for them. But I'm not getting it. The NBA, it's okay to be prepared. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. That's how you say it, right? That's exactly how you say it. But it's one where I'm not going to start worrying. I got enough to worry about. The 6 coffees I drank today have a better chance. I did get an EKG, so I'm good. But I mean, I'm more worried about that than I am about
They cut
this.
that thing off that you had? No? Okay. All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring it up.
It's all right.
Moving on.
That's all right.
My bad.
Hey, you know what? When you get a call from J.J. Abrams about Alien 5, it happens. I'm just saying. It's all right. It's all right. I'm going to be okay. Duke and NC State tonight. And Texas Tech and Baylor will be battling.
Get out of here.
Yeah. By the way, when it comes down to local news, we had a good weekend. What a great weekend for our teams, by the way. We had Pensacola Ice Flyers were on the road, taking on the Peoria Rivermen. And then you had the UWF baseball team and softball team that went out there and sweep, getting it done with 3 victories each. So great weekend overall. Great weekend.
Yeah. I mean, softball, of course, doing their thing, but baseball needed that. When you talk about anytime you can sweep a conference opponent, it's a big deal, especially at home. Jeff Coat and them, they struggled to start off the season a little bit, played some tough opponents, but for softball rolling right along, of course, they had a little bit of a rough beginning now, hitting their stride. For baseball, though, I tell you what, that pitching staff is something else. That's what won them the weekend when you look at Delta State. That pitching staff is gnarly. They are good. They are really good. And I'll even go over the softball side. They're loaded with pitching as well. They got a freshman, I think Megan Warhurst, came in on, I believe it was yesterday, and threw a gem. I mean, both our local team, both baseball and softball, seems to be hitting their stride right now. And let's remember, basketball, men's basketball tomorrow, opens on the road at Alabama Huntsville for the first round of the GSC. So let's see what they can do.
And I also want to say, just like Escambia in football this season, the Pine Forest girls basketball team did fall in states. They lost American Heritage 51-33, but it was still a great season overall. Class 5A got to the state title there in Lakeland, and an opportunity to come back. We're proud of all the girls.
Well, to have 3 starters that are 5'1" or smaller, I mean, that's incredible to do what they did. They were so quick, and Coach doing a great job over there as well. These girls, this is a team, though, it's fun to watch. If you didn't get a chance to watch Pine Forest girls basketball, the electricity they play with, that was the difference. This is a team that, of course, going through the playoffs, they get down, but they wouldn't get down. Mentally, you see teams like this too often in high school because emotions run high. You haven't learned how to control the emotions. These girls went out there and played like collegiate athletes. It was so much fun to watch. But you know what? I know they didn't win it, but hats off to them. They had a fantastic season. What are you laughing
I'm not
at?
laughing at this. I actually clicked the story of what the NBA strategy is for the coronavirus.
Does it say hand sanitizer?
I just see Adam Silver saying this, the guy that looks like Nosferatu coming in there as the vampire. He does. He looks like he's floating when he's. But I mean, it makes sense, but it says daps and fist bumps are among the short-term recommendations of not to pick up the virus. But imagine Adam Silver saying that to a bunch of people in the room. I would like you to stop daps and please refrain from fist bumps after May 3s. Are you all looking at me here? Daps and fist bumps. Can we stop that, please? And I'm like, oh, what about the Dougie? But what about this? And they're like, well, that you're not actually making contact, are you? Like, but
don't make contact with a Dougie.
Just this conversation. That's not funny. I mean, they're trying to help with the other. But
I understand. What you're
saying. The record. You would think that there would be a bigger. The NBA has consulted. The consultants came in and said, let's stop with daps and fist bumps are two things that we need to short-term recommendations so they don't pick up the. But when daps, aren't you just getting like the knuckle part?
Doesn't matter. You're making contact.
That's true.
Don't touch anybody.
Right no more fouls in the lane. just 25. They recommend playing like Golden State, just 25-foot jumpers, no actually taken to the hoop. But they have also said, regardless of contact, James Harden will get to the free throw line. So that's also been recommended by the league as well for the officials. So there you go. It all makes sense now. Big time news. Braves up 4-0 on the Phillies right now down at Wild World of Sports. Huge.
Tremendous
news right there. Breaking news, according to some. I will say, though, the XFL overall, where's your grade?
How do we jump into this?
We're going up here because we're done talking about the fist bumps and daps on here. But
I want to go back to
the XFL, where's your overall grade? State of the Union.
Whoa. How long do we have? No, I think it's still, look, it was a B+ last week. You know what? I'm going to stick with a B+, just because I think the football is getting better, though. I know that there's not the stars, but the football has progressively gotten a little bit better. Of course, these guys didn't have the training camps like everybody did. You're starting to see some things. There's some surprises here. The Houston Roughnecks are a big surprise. We all thought the Dallas Renegades were going to be the team there, and they kind of run away with it. The St. Louis Battlehawks were supposed to be, according to Caesars Sportsbook, the worst team in the XFL to start the season. And look at what they're doing now. They're the second best team when I really look at it. The DC Defenders, what a fall off. I mean, you're talking about Cardale Jones. Guys that were supposed to be stars, Landry Jones and Cardale Jones, have now fallen off. And the Tampa Bay Vipers finally got a win. How about that? Just saying.
I was very excited about that app at first. By the way, how we picked our teams was there was an app that rotates, playing like Simon says, and it lands on one of the 8 teams. And I got DC, and they get to a 2-0 start, so I claimed them. That's what we do at UCF. And then, now they've lost 2 straight. So I'm looking, maybe Vipers again on that.
Well, they got the Battlehawks this week. So.
Cardale Jones doesn't look his face right now.
What a tremendous drop-off, though. Like, what? This is a guy that lit the league up.
Well, here's the deal with all of this. By the way, people feel like, I guess, they don't know if this is what XFL-type league it is from watching the old one maybe as kids. I don't know. But did you see what Cardale Jones did? He told the coach to bench somebody that was on the offense, and instead the coach benched him. He was like, he's told him, he's
Great
like, dude,
move.
You got to go bench these guys, man. They're not coming through. And then he got benched. So, like, Matt McGloin went out there and called out his whole team, and he's not starting now. You got the quarterback that Texas A&M Commerce, played in the title there, Luis Perez. It just is at that point, though, where these guys are trying. That's the one thing. Mic'd up is fun to a point. But then you realize if it's a bunch of guys sitting around the bar and you don't mind about, you talk like a sailor. Maybe you work at Pensacola NAS and you're used to sitting out there and you've worked on a submarine with David Robinson in your life. By the way, 7'1" on a submarine. I can't imagine that. But
how miserable you must be.
Well, he didn't. He won MVP, so he got over that real quick. Won a couple titles. But
I don't mean you were miserable.
The admiral, man. But he's like, he wasn't an admiral when he was on the boat. Be like, hey, listen, that's what we call him. That's what.
Whoa.
But David, I mean, imagine though, getting out there and watching these guys get mic'd up. And when they get mic'd up, though, it's not always good. In the heat of the moment, in the passion, and also the educational levels, we don't take that into account on everybody that's in front of the mic. And when it came down to after Landry Jones got knocked out, you had a couple of people get up there and yell an F-bomb about Landry Jones to get his blank out of here. Right at the camera. I'm like, oh, that happened. Glad Leighton wasn't in the room. Building castles and
Daddy,
singing
what's
Elsa
that
songs.
word mean?
Well, clearly that is a 4-letter word we're not going to repeat. And there you go. But they couldn't do anything about it. And I love the announcers like Joe Buck style, like, oh, ow, oh, like, yeah, it happened. There's nothing you can do.
It's too late now.
Be great to have. That would have been a perfect time to have Burger McFarland. Booker, what did he just say? Well, he clearly just yelled the word. No, Booker, don't say that. You just stop it. You asked me. What do you break down? What did they? Well, he first started with this curse word. Then he came right back with this one. And then you're like, we don't want to hear either of those again. But he did say everybody's still in the hunt now that Tampa has won. So we're pretty excited about it. Can we get somebody to sponsor? Do you think if we called them today, it's now $5. I saw the report today on WEAR and then News Radio, 92.3, our great sister station downstairs covering it. They're on top of every story. But Garcon Point, this isn't a good story, but Garcon Point Bridge now is $5 tolls.
Get them out of here.
Can we get somebody on the phone? If you're listening right now, maybe you work at the toll, and we do have a lot of people that listen to the shows in places that are driving around all day or just stuck in a toll and that kind of thing. But Garcon Point Bridge, if you're listening right now, can we get somebody to sponsor that segment for Houston? Pay the toll? Can we get that? If you're listening out at or driving through there, call in 850-623-1330. We'll if you call in, we'll sponsor it with your name just for the time being to pay the toll. Just for like a day. Until someone's like, you can't do that. But that's a perfect person. Makes sense. Pay the toll. $5 each way. $10. Just cross. Saves you time on a bad traffic day, though.
No daps.
You're driving next week. We're coming back for more Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, and Blab TV.
I'm Troy Rafferty, and many of you know about my love for sports and my longtime support for our local high school athletes. One thing these fine young people have taught me over the years is this. Whether it's on the ball field, in the classroom, or in a court of law, always work your hardest and achieve the best results possible. And that is the commitment we make to our clients and our community.
Levin Papantonio in Pensacola since 1955.
Join us in Seville Quarter March 7th from 12 to 7 for Cordova Crawfish Company's Crawfish for a Cause, presented by Truist Bank and Sandy Sansing dealerships. Tickets are $20 in advance, $25 at the event. When you help yourself to 3 pounds of Cajun crawfish, corn, potatoes, and sausage, you're also helping your community. Through our partnership with Rally Pensacola, Crawfish for a Cause supports local families struggling with childhood cancer. We'll have live music and drink specials throughout the family-friendly event, and other food options are available. Buy tickets and learn more at crawfishforacause.com.
ESPN Radio is taking over ESPN News. You can now watch your favorite radio shows all in one place. From Golic and Wingo.
Oh, yeah.
To the Dan Levitard Show with Stugotz.
All right, I'm available every day, thanks.
To the Stephen A. Smith Show.
I just don't understand this guy.
To the Will Kane Show.
It's my job to tell the truth.
From morning to night, the best of ESPN Radio is now available on ESPN News.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Hey there, I'm a glue stick, so I have one job. I glue kid stuff. So sorry for being jealous of Geico, who does a ton more, like give you 24/7 access to thousands of licensed agents. And Geico has been around for over 75 years and has a 97% customer satisfaction rating. While I've just got mediocre adhesive skills, Geico also has an award-winning mobile app. Uh-oh, arts and crafts time. No eating the glue stick, Miss Lydia.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
What if people had a battery level icon? Like on your phone? You'd see a lot of us in need of a recharge. Thank goodness there's 5-Hour Energy. Because just one sugar-free, vitamin-packed 5-Hour Energy shot can get you all the way back to 100% fast. And isn't life better at 100%? 5-Hour Energy. Get back to 100%. For more information, visit 5hourenergy.com.
The latest sports news is at ESPNpensacola.com and on Facebook at ESPN Pensacola. Plus, watch Chad Brillante, Coach K, and Sports Call live on our exclusive YouTube channel, ESPN Pensacola 1330. The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back, Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM, simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. Looking right now at...
What is it, Chad? What do you have to say?
First off, you dance to that and then you come with that voice. Like, where this, a RuPaul show? I don't know where'd that come from?
It can be whatever you want it to be.
I don't want any of this right here. I will say, and come on, now it's Jersey Shore. We flipped over the channel here. Looking at
this.
By the way, I think you have a breakdown of Trey Adams this week at the Combine.
Yep, he competed.
Yeah, apparently.
Great job.
Apparently, he wanted a second opinion.
That's it. You see Okuda's fall?
What about Trey Adams? Did he want a second opinion?
He did, actually. He had made a comment, and he believes that his earlier comment was not true. After going back and it's all about the measurements.
Let's just say that he was a bigger fan of okay.
It's all about the measurements, Chad.
When he was in statistics, he was a bigger fan of the ruler than the protractor.
That's fair enough.
Correct. That's okay.
But it's all about the measurements, is it not? At the Combine?
He wanted a second opinion.
Just saying.
Greg Oden did too. Looking right now at some of the things going on right now. Brady being a free agent, the biggest NFL offseason story ever, is it?
It's it is one of them. I'm not going to say it is the biggest one, but it's just because how long, with what he's done, being with the Patriots, it's odd to see a guy stay with someone that long. That's just why this is such a big deal. Now, if Brady's been bouncing around or whatever, it's different. But this is a guy that has been the Patriots. You know that being
in sports,
a Patriots
right?
fan.
Because I do apologize to everybody that's been married for like 30 years on that comment.
That's debatable, and they would probably debate that too, to a certain depending on the fan you are. Just saying.
You know, like the mixed when you do the weddings and they're like, 70, you get off the floor for how many years been married, and they're like the couple for 60 years, and you're like, who is that? But they've been there. You're like, everybody applauds, and but it's always a good one right there. I got my anniversaries in 13 days. I'm excited.
Congratulations.
You did pick up my text, right? Where you're supposed to go last week to get that surprise party that never happened?
No, it did happen. It was at the Senior Bowl.
That's right.
All those people showed up for you. Yeah. You rudely did not go.
Yeah, you had an extra seat. They're called bleacher seats. You're like, I saved you a spot. Be like, yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. Looking at some of the other things, Bama gets a strength and conditioning coach, David Ballou. He comes from Indiana. He's big. He looks like the guy in a World's Strongest Man competition or out of Game of Thrones, and he's good at his job. Moving on to Jimmy Johnson. Final race at Fontana. That was pretty cool to see him go around the track. Jimmy Johnson doesn't always fit the mold of every NASCAR driver, but his records speak for themselves. He's one of the top 5 drivers in pretty much every statistical cat. Well, there's not a ton of them, but he just winning races. And this isn't like, but he's, when it comes down to wins, he's up there. Would you say top 5 all time? Top 3 all time. Honestly, look at his stats. Richard Petty won like everything. He had like 200 wins, but he wore a sweet hat. You just can't take that away. The Intimidator's
can't pull it off.
Could have been, it's sad. It's like Roberto Clemente. It wasn't yet done. NFL Combine wraps up. Biggest winner, I would say, Simmons.
Isaiah Simmons?
Yeah.
Man's a beast.
He's a beast.
4.39, that big.
Play like 40 positions right there. That's all the time we have for today's show. On that note, guys, always remember, have fun out there. Get your pet spayed and neutered. And we'll be back tomorrow with more on the Sports Drive.
It's all about the measurements.
JP, for Chad, for Caitlin, have a great rest of your night, and God bless.
I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Far away, ricochet. You take your aim, far away. You shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. You shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am
It's time for your NCAA bracketology with Joe Lenardi, looking at all of the biggest games going on right now in college hoops. Right now in action, Texas Tech and Baylor just around the corner. Duke with the 2-point lead over right now NC State at halftime. But currently, looking at the overall seeds, Big Ten with 10 teams in, Pac-12 with 7, Big East with 7, Big 12 with 5, SEC with 4, ACC with 4. Looking at the overall number 1 seed, San Diego State, Gonzaga. I was told to say it that way. Kansas and Baylor are the number ones. Currently, the Florida Gators would be sitting as a 9 seed and would play Texas Tech in the first round. That would be close to a Final Four matchup last year. Auburn, currently a 5 seed, and even though this probably won't happen, they're projected to play UCLA. Some of the other teams include Duke, right there at number 3. Big matchup against Colgate. Be a lot of Colgate fans that day at the bar. Good to get your teeth whitened, too. Looking as well at the game between Wisconsin and Yale, LSU and Providence, these are some of the predictions that absolutely mean nothing because they're predictions, and those games probably won't fall into place. That's your NCAA scoreboard update in bracketology.
This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, sports call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time.